the United States is an integral part of NATO. They have founded the alliance. They are not into NATO because of some historical reason that they didn't want to repeat the mistake after the First World War, not to repeat that mistake after the Second World War. They know that this is an integral part of their defense, our collective defense. And sometimes we talk about frontline states. Let me make absolutely clear. The Netherlands and France and the United Kingdom are frontline states. We are there together with the Baltics, Poland, all the other member states of NATO. We are all frontline states. There is not a frontline state which is closer to Russia or farther away from Russia. And we need the US, and the US needs us. We need each other to work on this. It was Trump who, from 2016 onwards, was pushing us on this part of NATO to spend more on defense. Look what's happening now. Latvia moving up to north of 3.5%. Overall, EU, NATO now at 2%, and we need to do more. We need to ramp up industry production. So on all of this, we need the US needs us. We are together in NATO, all for one, one for all. Then on Ukraine, it is only the Ukrainian government which can decide to start talks with Russia on how to end this. But they have to do this from a position of strength. And that is why we need to continue to deliver defense aid into Ukraine to make sure that they will be in that position of strength when that day comes at their decision. And we have made clear in NATO that their future will be in NATO. That is a decision we repeated again at the NATO summit in Washington. The irreversible path towards NATO membership for Ukraine. And we are building the bridge by the $40 billion pledge, by the command we are setting up in Wiesbaden, by all the bilateral security agreements many allies have now made bilaterally with Ukraine. This is building the bridge towards future NATO membership for Ukraine.
Let me just also to answer both questions. First of all, the United States has been, is, and I'm completely sure is going to be indispensable partner for Europe, indispensable for European security. But I think that it is very clear that we all need to step up when it comes to our defense and security. We all need, as Secretary General just said, not only to step up defense spending, but also to mobilize military industry, defense industry, and do many things. Also to be prepared for all kinds of hybrid challenges that all of our countries have been facing, are facing, and I'm quite sure will face. So from that point of view, I very much agree with Mark on the description that the United States are integral part of NATO. And indeed, we do hope that the US presence is going also to continue in this part of Europe and in Europe in general. On Ukraine, just a couple of points. We have invited both Ukraine and Georgia to be a candidate countries back in 2008 at the Bucharest summit. They are candidates. Already 16 years we have seen quite challenging developments both in Georgia and in Ukraine. And I do believe that to some extent some kind of unclarity that unfortunately we have seen on the part of alliance also was the part of problem that we are now seeing in Europe when we see the war in Ukraine. Number two, I do believe that we need to have comprehensive plan for Ukraine, and we still have speculations about what the incoming US administration's plan for Ukraine would be. I would frankly wait and of course be happy to discuss those issues with the incoming administration, what the exact plan there is. But let's face it, at this point we also see that Russia is not willing to sit at the table. Russia actually is stepping up military operations and activities, and whenever we want to have any kind of political process, you have both. Ukraine, you can't agree on peace plan without Ukraine, but also Russia must sit at the table and Russia must be willing to negotiate. As of the invitation to join NATO, well, I very much want to echo what Secretary General said. We have reaffirmed back in July in Washington that it's not about if, but it's about when. And let's now work together to make sure that there is as best possible solution for Ukraine, in Ukraine, with the participation of Ukraine, but also that we work out a very strong security guarantees. And my strong belief so far has been that the only real security guarantee is Ukraine being part of NATO. Whether as NATO allies we can all agree, all 32, because this is a unanimous decision that we must make, remains to be seen, but at least this country is going to work towards that end.
Paldies, ar to arī beidzam preses konferenci.
Good. Probably we are so